This is Co-Pilots, the podcast where we watch not just the first episode of a show,
but also the second. Some shows just don't have the best pilot episode, and giving it that second chance might just sway your mind.
Here on Co-Pilots, we take that chance for you and let you know our opinion on if it deserves more than one shot.
I'm Justice. Alongside me is my co-pilot Josh. Now, let's get ready for takeoff. Your in-flight entertainment this week will be Blacklight.
Black Lightning is one of the more recent shows to be introduced to the Arrowverse.
Yes.
Being introduced in the winter of 2019 to the Arrowverse, but to the world in the early winter of 2018.
Yes.
Because it didn't become part of the Arrowverse until its third season.
Yeah, because Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Well, actually because the director and writer didn't want it to be part of Arrowverse.
Understandable.
Completely understandable. And this show takes that not wanting to be part of Arrowverse and rides its coat very hard, because Arrowverse shows all have a lot of the same thing going on, right? It's enemy of the week, enemy of the week, enemy of the week, big bad, enemy of the week. And it gets repetitive.
I mean, I thought I was just hoping they wrote Diggle better, and then hoping they wrote Felicity better, and then not watching The Flash because they didn't write the people in Arrow well enough.
No, they wrote Oracle fantastic in Arrow. What are you talking about?
You're right. I forgot Oracle's part of Arrow, not Batman.
Oh, you're forgetting. The show's called Arrow, but it is just Batman.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, we're talking about Black Lightning, which is, I want to say, the first DC comic that featured a black superhero as the main protagonist.
No, you might be right. I know for a fact, though, Black Lightning had the first comic book run for a black hero in DC.
He's also the first black hero to get his own TV show, unless there's something in the 90s or 80s I'm missing. Oh, wait, no, Luke Cage. I forgot about Luke Cage. God damn it, Luke Cage.
I mean, I just assumed you were talking about DC.
In DC, yeah, 100%. 100%. I meant DC. I didn't forget Luke Cage in that show that was really good for a season.
Yeah, for a season.
Anyways, this show opens up in a police station where...
Oh, wow, I'm surprised. He forgot something. Something I get yelled at when I do it.
Oh,
Episode
yeah.
1, The Resurrection.
You didn't mention that this was season 1.
Black Lightning, Episode 1, Season 1, The Resurrection, Take 2 at reviewing the podcast.
We're not reviewing a podcast. And
I'm reviewing the podcast.
And second of all, you start with the largest measurement of time and go to the smallest measurement of time. So it's 2018's Black Lightning, Season 1, Episode 1, The Resurrection.
No. See, America teaches me I start with the largest.
You start with the middle one.
I start with the middle, go to the smallest, then go to the largest.
This is a tangent and we're only 4 minutes in. Let's back on track.
Fine.
The episode opens in a police station where Jennifer Pierce, the main character's daughter, is repeating a poem her dad has told her. It's not a poem so much as a quote.
A quote, yeah.
Justice, like lightning, should ever appear to some men hope and other men fear. It's actually the bastardization of a quote from an archbishop from the 1300s, but...
It's also the appropriate reaction to meeting, seeing, or hearing me. For some, you should fear me. For others, I should inspire hope. This show was talking about me, right?
No, nobody's ever talking about you.
I can dream.
No, Dream is the speed runner that does Minecraft.
Oh, I thought he was the best of the Eternals.
Yeah, but either way, not something you can do.
That involves sleeping.
So Jefferson Pierce is sitting in the police station, looking distraughtly at a news report as it's talking about a record weekend of shootings in Freeland, Georgia, I think?
Atlanta, I believe.
No, Freeland's the city. Atlanta's the city, Justice. What are you... It's Freeland, Georgia. I'm 100%...
Yeah, no, sorry. It's just shot in Atlanta. My mind went, Atlanta. Freeland is meant to be Atlanta. That's where my mind went. I apologize.
No, DC cities aren't meant to be real-world cities because
they are meant to be real-world cities, except for when the real-world city also gets to exist at the same time.
Because the real-world cities also exist. Atlanta exists. Freeland exists.
If you notice, the fake cities basically only exist in America, though.
Yes.
But anyways, yeah, record violence from gangs this weekend. 125
shootings.
in just one weekend.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, in cinema...
Is this a holiday weekend?
Yeah.
Because does that affect it?
So, in cinema, when a movie releases on a holiday weekend, it gets to count the extra day. So, the question is this a holiday weekend? Do they get to count the extra day? Is this 125 shootings in 3 days or 125 shootings in 2 days?
Don't get me wrong. Neither is great, but one's a lot worse than the other. One, you're looking at like 62 and a half per day. And that is ridiculous. Whereas the other one, you're only working at 41 and 2/3. I mean,
Did you just do that math in your head? Because I was having trouble getting the fraction out of the 41.
yeah, no, I did the math in my head.
I hate you so much.
You're welcome.
But most of these shootings, sorry, not murders, we don't know how many people died, were attributed to the 100 gang. A gang that is led by Juanita, one of the last 4 of the 100.
Formed by Prime Hater after the Prime Fire.
I wonder how many people are going to hear that joke, understand it, and then hate us.
I mean, if we have any CW stans listening to this episode strictly because Black Lightning is on CW, more than you would think.
Are there CW stans?
I don't fucking know. There's stans for everything as far as I know.
I assume there has to be because all the shows are written the same way.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference between Riverdale and the 100? A spaceship?
Setting. Only thing. So far, the show is the most different from all of them.
Don't get me wrong. I love the 100. I love Riverdale. I like Arrow. I like Flash.
Oh, so you're a CW stan. See? They do exist.
I guess I am.
You just didn't recognize it yet.
I'm not making a CW Stan Twitter account, if that's what you mean. I'm going to sit here quietly and stand for CW on my own.
Yeah, but no. So the 100 gang is just a gang in the area. I would assume, given just like location based off the way gangs generally work, if they're given a number attribution, it's generally for like the area that they're in. But
no, they've grown so powerful they don't have an area. They just are Freeland at this point.
I mean, maybe that's the area code for Freeland.
Maybe, but I mean, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Don't question me. I don't know. But this weekend there was a protest, and then it turned violent because the gang stopped the protest.
I think the writing for this is a little shoddy here because the protest was the public protesting the gang.
Yes.
So
and then the gang stopped the protest, but because the phrasing in the newscast, 100 gang members stopped the protest. We're not referring to 100 members of 100 of the gang 100, but rather the gang 100 as the 100 gang and then members from it. We do not actually know how many members of the gang stopped the protest.
It's a really weird tangent to go on. I thought it was pretty obvious that they meant the 100 gang.
I missed the name of the gang initially, so I thought it was 100 gang members showed up.
Oh, so you're just clarifying in case people are as stupid as you are.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean...
I was busy trying to read the news ticker on the bottom.
Did you get anything good out of it? I ignored it.
No.
Okay, cool.
I was hoping for small references to things here and there, but nothing at all.
So, this is the city of Freeland. We talked about that. The news attempts to interview a police inspector, Inspector Henderson, who has apparently been with the Freeland Police Department for 23 years.
Yes.
And he made his name while he fought against Black Lightning.
Yep. We cut to him after the news talks about how people are losing faith in the police to deal with the gangs.
Yeah, in the interview with Henderson, the reporter asks him about the protest march and the subsequent attack on the protest march. And he gives a really write-off answer where he says that they can't condone any looting, rioting, etc., which really makes it sound like he's blaming the rioters
for being attacked by gang.
Blaming the protesters for being attacked by the gang.
Yeah, which seems like a very police thing to do. So
honestly, this show, I'm like, watching the show, I spent the entire time going, wow, this was 2018. Good job.
Yeah.
Because all the shows I've been watching this year, 2021,
yeah,
that have debuted in 2021, or their new season started in 2021, you can tell that they did massive rewrites because of the Black Lives Matter protests and
COVID,
the killings and the COVID and all of this stuff. The police killings is obviously what I meant there.
Yeah.
They did massive rewrites on their shows. The Rookie especially.
Yes.
Although I love The Rookie. It's honestly the best season yet.
Yeah.
The Good Doctor. But like everything I've been watching, even Prodigal Son has this underlining tone. Like
Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
Yeah. And you can tell that it was 100% inspired by the real life events. Black Lightning also feels like the writing room started the rewrite mid 2020.
Yeah.
But this show is from 2018.
Yeah, no, they were just dealing with problems that the Black community have been facing for a long time that just the majority of the world, or the majority of America at least, has ignored.
Mm-hmm. And like, it's really wild that it speaks so strongly to those same things. Like, because even though these were problems in the Black community before this, they obviously came to a boil in 2020.
Yes.
And the fact that this show was speaking about that so openly in 2018 is just insane.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, I'm already gushing about the show. Did I like this show, Justice? Can you tell?
I think so, but I mean, so did I. So here we see that it was indeed Pierce's daughter, Jefferson Pierce's daughter, who was narrating. She finishes out with a different quote, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, And we see the police are just kind of upset about Black Lightning because the police were talking about how he was helpful. We see that at least this police officer, and assumedly the sentiment in this station is, well, we do more work than Black Lightning ever did.
No, I think the sentiment was because the reporter was like, Henderson, who made his career off fighting Black Lightning, I think the sentiment was more, hey, he's not the only one that was like out there doing things. Like I think it was more criticism of Henderson than
I
Black
assumed
Lightning.
It was criticism of the superhero because that is superhero 101. Criticize superhero.
Yeah, that's fair.
But then we see Jefferson Pierce's other daughter walk up. She's being released from police custody.
Yeah, we knew that because we saw Jennifer's phone where she was texting her friend, and she saw that her sister was arrested for trying to be Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know what she means by that.
No, there's no reference to, like, what she means by that with her sister.
Was her sister...
Do you mean standing up for rights?
Do you...
and, like, just not gangs?
He's like, Harriet Tubman, well, definitely, like, an activist in the earliest days of equal rights movements. I mean, I guess trying to abolish slavery was equal rights movements.
Yeah, definitely.
Technically. Before the equal rights topic ever came up. But, like, Harriet Tubman was one of the key pieces of the Underground Railroad.
Yes.
But, like...
I would, like... So...
the Underground Railroad was, like, human smuggling. Like,
yeah.
That's what it was.
And this is just a protest against the gang. It's not even a protest against authority or the people, you know, causing problems for the Black communities with racist...
I'm confused because I think the protest should have been that the city is not doing anything to stop the 100. But instead they were protesting...
The gang, just outright protesting the gang itself from the way it was spun on the news. It seems just...
It's wild.
Odd, okay?
But yeah, so they were here to pick her up because she was arrested at the protest.
Yeah.
We then cut to them in a car. The older sister's named Anissa.
Mm-hmm.
And Jefferson Pierce, our main character, the titular Black Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad I can say titular this time, and it's actually correct.
Yeah. I mean, we could say titular during Nightman.
Yes. But Jefferson is upset with his daughter because he is the principal of school.
Mm-hmm. Darkfield High School.
Of a high school. And they have a fundraising thing tonight. And he's like, so you looked at your schedule? And we're like, well, I could go get arrested, or I could go to this fundraising thing. And she's like, it wasn't a choice. I didn't choose to get arrested. I chose to do it. Like, it wasn't a choice. I was doing what was right. And so they quote each other. They quote back and forth at each other. Quotes from
strong political leaders of equal right movements. And Jefferson is very much against violence. So, you know, he's quoting Martin Luther King. He's talking about how violence should not be faced with violence. And his daughter is quoting back more...
I don't remember who.
Unrest sentiments. I remember the quote, and I know who it's from, and it's annoying me that I can't name it off the top of my head, but it's
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yep.
Yeah.
But while they're having this quote off, which is not how real people speak.
I've had quote offs before.
I hate doing this because it feels like... So, System Mastery is a podcast. They have bonus content. One of the bonus shows is TV Mastery, where they watch all of the first season of...
Shows.
All of the first season of Smallville. The current season of TV Mastery is not doing it in the whole season. But anyways, and their biggest criticism with how the Luthers interacted with each other, Lex and Lionel, their father and son, is that they would just quote each other strong male historical figures.
Yes.
Instead of having actual conversations. And that's kind of what this scene is. This is Jefferson and Anissa quoting strong Black leaders at each other without having an actual conversation.
Yeah. But as they're having this quote off, police sirens and lights go off behind them.
Yep.
And so the police get out of the car, walk around. It's nice and raining outside.
Mm-hmm.
And Jefferson goes straight out the window, and the police tell him to get out of the car.
Yep, they demand that he exits the car with zero reason.
So he rolls down his window, trying to explain.
When he doesn't exit his car, the police officer opens his car door and pulls him out of his car, which
Slams him against the side of his car.
which is all highly illegal.
Mm-hmm. His daughter, Anissa, pulls out her phone to start recording and tries to get out of the car.
No, Anissa doesn't try to get out of the car. She's recording.
Oh,
Jennifer
so it's
tries to get
Jennifer
out of the
trying
car
And the police officer kicks the door shut
and slams it on her.
and pulls a gun.
Yeah, this is all like ACAB.
Yeah.
This is all like highly illegal shit. Like, anyways, they then drag Jefferson back to their cop car so that an Asian woman sitting in the back seat.
They drive him to slam him against the hood, throw handcuffs on him, and then stop him outside the back window.
So that the Asian woman sitting in the back seat can confirm or not if he is indeed the person that they're looking for. She shakes her head. They take the handcuffs off, and the officer wishes him a good night.
And Jefferson, rightly upset because, as he yelled at the beginning of this is the third time this month that the police have pulled him over for nothing. And he just wants to know what this is about.
He has to ask them multiple times what it's about,
Yeah.
too. It's not just like, he goes, so why did you stop me? Why did you slam me against a car? Why did you put handcuffs on me? No, he has to ask them multiple times why they stopped.
And he doesn't get a response until he raises his voice. And the cop's just like, her liquor store was robbed. So he's yelling about how, oh, surely he must match the description. A black man in a suit and tie driving a mid-sized Volvo wagon robbed her store.
Like, his point here is the only matching descriptor that they have between him and the person that robbed that liquor store is that they were black.
And the officer, just tells him to have a nice night and goes to walk away.
The officer literally scoffs at that. He's like he literally scoffs.
Yep.
And then as he turns to walk away, Jefferson gets angry.
Yeah, and when he gets angry, he kind of surges power a tiny bit.
And when he gets angry, you wouldn't like him.
I do like him when he's angry.
Yeah, I actually like him more when he's angry, kind of.
Yeah, no, he's great when he's angry.
Yeah.
And so lights flicker, cars freak out a bit, but then Jefferson manages to calm himself down, and that's, kind of the end of it.
And then narration from Jennifer tells us that this is the night that Black Lightning was rebirthed, which tells me this entire show, because it's being narrated by Jennifer, is a setup for Jennifer's story.
At least until a point.
When Black Lightning ends at the end of season 4, it's because we're going to get a Jennifer spin-off series.
Or, it's just like whenever she develops her powers as lightning. Or whenever she finds out that her father is Black Lightning. There's multiple endpoints where it could still continue with the show as being Black Lightning.
Yeah, there is a spin-off of the show coming, but it's not about lightning. So she says that this is the night that Black Lightning was rebirthed, and then we get a title screen and a little bit of title music. There's an entire song that was written for the title theme.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
The song is called Black Lightning. I don't remember who the artist is. I looked it up once.
It's not the best.
Yeah. Earlier you were trying to tell me that the song Venom by Eminem wasn't very good.
I don't like it. I hate the chorus.
And I think the song's good. I didn't know the song very well. I've watched Venom once.
I hate his chorus.
You know what is a bad song written for a superhero property?
Black Lightning?
Black Lightning. That song's not good.
Yeah, no, its flow is bad. Its track and beat and melody and everything is kind of weak. And they also picked one of the worst sections to highlight the title card.
They rhyme the same line back to back. Like, it's like, where we at? And then they have another line in between, and then they rhyme it again with where we at.
Yeah.
And that's lazy writing.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, after the title card, we're at the fundraiser at Garfield High, and there's a lady just going on about how great Jefferson Pierce is. He's a great principal. He's a former Olympian medalist.
He's an Olympic gold medalist. Those are the words you're looking for.
Olympian medalist works too. I struggled with that for so fucking long.
Yes, you did. And I wasn't gonna.
No one will hear it.
I wasn't gonna step in. I was just gonna let you keep going. So, anyways, Jefferson Pierce has made Garfield High School a center of hope with a 90% graduation rate, which is hella good.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good inner city graduation rate.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just a generally good graduation rate for a public school.
And he's done it with the help of his family and community
and faculty. They say family and faculty.
My bad. Yeah,
they have to highlight themselves.
Yeah. Well, not themselves, because this person.
This
person is not a member of the faculty.
Yeah.
Don't interrupt me like that.
And they're talking about how great his family is. His eldest daughter, Anissa, is a med student who helps by teaching health class 3 days a week. Mm-hmm. His youngest daughter, Jennifer, is an academic star and sports star for the school.
They use the term astounding scholar athlete, just like her father.
Yeah. And from there, we cut to Jennifer and her friend in a bathroom, throwing on makeup, preparing to go to a house party, talking about how great that's going to be and how boring this fundraiser is.
Yeah, and Anissa catches them.
Yeah. And it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? You know Dad's not going to be okay with this.
Yeah, eventually Anissa caves and decides to let her sister go to this party, but only if her sister's home by 10:15 because this fundraiser ends at 10 o'clock, and they need to be home before Dad is.
Yes. So she says, sure, and then we cut back, and it turns out this lady, who has just finished her introduction to Jefferson Pierce, who's coming on stage, was the senator.
Of fictional Georgia.
Yeah. You know, maybe not of Georgia, because they just say Senator Turner. She could be a senator from a different state who just has some weird vested interest in Jefferson Pierce.
Yeah, it would be weird if a state senator in 2018 in Georgia was talking up
A public school principal?
a black public school principal, because in Georgia, up until this year, they were a Republican state.
Yeah, so I have to assume it was just like a California senator was there, like the fictional California senator. This guy's fucking great. I just met him yesterday, but I absolutely love everything he's done for this school.
I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it is a Georgia senator, and maybe in this universe, Georgia's a Democratic state.
Yeah. Or, you know, they're just trying to get that press appeal.
Yeah, in either way.
Anyways, though, Pierce gives a speech.
It's very short.
Yeah, it's just about how school's doing good.
And then we cut to the club where Jennifer's partying. Not a house, a club.
No. It's a club, and she's dancing.
And some guy, she catches some guy's eye, and she catches that, and he catches her eye, and she is stoned.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
And so they go to like a booth talk, and she just blatantly mentions that she's stoned. But even though she's stoned, she's not gonna hook up with him.
well. We also saw her puffing
Yes,
smoke.
smoking
so-
things.
I mean, it could have been a vape, I guess.
No. It looked like she had a joint in her hand.
Yeah, no. Like I said, it could have been, but it wasn't.
We go back to the fundraiser where we see Jefferson just schmoozing.
We find out he's friends with Inspector
Inspector.
Henderson.
Mhm.
Then a woman tries to introduce him to some lady called Miss Lady Eve from the
Mhm.
Blackbird Funeral Parlor, who could be a potential donor for the school.
So Lady Eve is a DC comic books character who is a member of Cobra, a terrorist organization
No.
from the East.
We already reviewed that show. That's G.I. Joe.
No. Different Cobra terror organization. This one's spelled with a K.
Oh, so it's cool, like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I still haven't
And
watched
their
that
leader's a
trailer
snake person. Oh, wait. Huh.
yet.
Huh.
So it is like Cobra. This is G.I. Joe. Is Black Lightning a G.I. Joe character?
Wait. But Cobra fights people representing the U.S. government who are patriots a lot of the time. Nope, still not working.
Is Cobra Kai spelled with a K? No.
No, it's spelled Cobra C. Yeah, no. But she's just a character who's been part of Cobra before.
Her name is just offhandedly mentioned. She won't appear in the next episode either.
Yeah.
So
For
now, we're just.
There was a point, though, where Henderson and Jefferson are talking, and they're talking about the fact that Anissa got arrested, and Henderson just says, you know, it's better to protest the police than the 100. So this clarifies up any idea that...
Yeah, I know, like he's like, it's better to protest the police. We'll just mace you,
tear gas you, mace you, maybe...
beat you, and then put you in prison.
The 100 will kill you.
It's amazing to me that he's so frank. He's like, yeah, we'll just tear gas you and mace you and
Yeah.
beat you. And
However, this clears up any possibility that the public was protesting the police's or the city's reaction to the 100. No, they were straight up protesting the 100 to the 100, which I don't even know how you
Yeah.
do that. Are you walking down blocks where you know there's a lot of like pro-gang sentiment, or where you know like houses are set up and shit? Because that
So-
sounds really fucking dumb.
so typically, protests work by putting strain on infrastructure.
Yeah.
Gangs have infrastructure, so you could strain that. But I feel like in most cases, you're just going to get shot first.
Right? This seems like a really, really poor idea someone had.
I don't understand it. Anyways, Jefferson then meets up with his ex-wife, and they joke about their daughter being arrested.
Yes.
She's like, I heard your daughter got arrested. And he's
Like our daughter. Also, she gets her attitude from you.
yeah. And then the ex is like, well, really, she's not our daughter anymore. She's her own person.
Yeah. And also, she's a little like you when you were young.
Yep. And that's the scene.
Yeah, and then he goes back to schmoozing.
And then we cut back to him getting home, and he's getting home from the charity, the fundraiser.
Mhm.
Why did I lose track of the word fundraiser? That's
No idea.
my brain. And he's like, Jennifer, hello? When he can't find her, he calls Anissa, and Anissa's like, oh yeah, she went to a party.
And he's pissed because she fucking knew her sister was going to a party. And I assume he asks where she is,
Yeah.
and she doesn't know. So he just pulls up his phone and is like, I know I can track my daughter's phone.
Bust out that tracking app.
Yep. Oh shit, she's at location Club 100.
Okay, so I don't want to be a dick. Actually, I do. The police in Freeland are terrible. No matter how good they claim to be, they're terrible. There is a club called Club 100 that is presumably owned, but definitely frequented and ran by members of the 100 gang, and it's a popular nightclub.
Yeah.
People actively go here. It's not shut down. There's not a constant police presence outside of it.
Right? My favorite
Why?
part, though, is later when Anissa's talking to Jennifer about why the fuck she would go there, because it's people call it Club 100 for a reason. The way she phrases it makes it seem like it's a nickname, but the phone returns the name of the location as Club 100, which means it is officially fucking called that.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too, because she's like, there's a reason why people call it Club 100, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's its fucking name. Maybe that's why they're called the 100 Gang,
You know,
because
there's-
they started out of there.
you know, there's a reason why they call it McDonald's, right?
Because that's its fucking name.
Damn it. Fuck me, man. Like, it's just so stupid. And this, actually, while we're here, comics are stupid. They're so stupid.
Yeah.
I love comics. I love comic book properties. But God, they're all so stupid.
Yeah. So Jefferson takes off to head towards Club 100, and we cut back to see Jennifer talking to this guy.
And then some dudes sit down and block them into the booth.
She tries to leave. They're like, nah.
Yeah, she's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. They're like, nah, you don't. Then they drag her and the guy she was talking to back into a back room.
Who I'm just going to go ahead and preemptively say his name is Will, because I don't know when we get that.
Not until the next episode.
I didn't think so. So he's just a guy for the longest time in my notes, and I want to be able to refer to him as a name. His
Alright.
name is Will.
Yeah, maybe it's later in this episode.
I don't know, man.
It is later in this episode because it's when
It's way too long, okay?
so they get pulled into the back room where they meet the gang leader Lala, and Jefferson actually gets to the club just in time to see the daughter get pulled into the back room.
Yes.
So the guy Jennifer was with, Will, owes Lala, who is the gang leader, and a dude, over $100,000 from lost product,
Yeah.
lawyer fees, and
He-
commissionary money.
Yeah, he got arrested, so he lost product. They had to pay for the lawyer.
And Lala's like, maybe you should have your girl start working at the Starfish.
The Seahorse Motel.
My bad. That's the second time I've done that. I was
Yeah.
writing it earlier
to make
over
up
Starfish.
the loss. And she's like, "I'm not his girl. I'm not doing that." And Lala tells her to shut up. The men are talking.
Yep.
And so he asks Will, "Are you okay with that?" And Will's just like, "Yeah, okay."
And she's like, I'm not his girl. Kicks him in the nuts.
And he's like, "Whoa!" He grabs her and pulls her and is like whispering. He's like, "It's okay. It's fine." She's just like, you were kind of all right until I knew you were someone else's bitch." And then knees him in the balls.
Yep.
And all the other gang members rightly start laughing at him.
Yep. And while this is happening, Jefferson is attempting to get into the back room.
Yeah, he walks to the door. It's
There
like,
is one security guard standing outside of it.
Mhm.
And the guy's like, can't let you in. Sorry.
Jefferson's just like, "My daughter's in there. I'm gonna go in." The guy shoves him. He shoves the guy.
And the guy's like,
The guy goes much farther and slams into a wall.
well, yeah, they kind of exchange a brief altercation physically. And Jefferson does an arm twist and then shoves him away.
Yeah. So the moment the guy is beat physically, of course, he pulls out a gun.
And then Jefferson says, I tried doing this the right way.
And the lights go.
I'm confused by this though, because the lights don't all go off. He leaves enough electricity so the lights can flicker.
Yeah.
He's got this down. He's like, all the power except enough to make me look cool.
I mean, he was Black Lightning for years before this.
He's been out of the game for almost a decade, Justice.
Yeah, but you don't just forget how to use your superpowers. Clearly, you've never had superpowers. You would know. You just don't forget. It's innate, okay?
And then we cut to the inside of the office where we hear gunshots.
And so people rightly freak out right outside. We are screaming, scrambling, and
Man, the club empties out fast.
I have
so
to assume-
fast.
I have to assume people are kind of used to having to empty out of a gang hideout fast.
But it's not a gang hideout. It's an active nightclub.
Yeah.
It's a popular place.
Maybe they just have fire drills every now and then. This is what happens, guys. Some other gang shows up to shoot us. You know which exits to take.
I don't think Freeland has other gangs.
Yeah, no.
because the 100 is so big. I think what's more likely is Lala goes up to the DJ, hands him a flash drive, and is like, hey, in 15 to 30 minutes, chosen at random from now, stick this in your laptop, hit the play button. It's going to sound like the police are fucking raining down on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that, please.
It's the evacuation drills, safety.
But you have to time it randomly so that people don't know it's coming.
Yep.
But anyways.
Back in the now dark club, because he's turned it all the way off now because he's using lightning power, so that'll look cool anyways.
So the gangsters try to shoot at him, but they can't really see him. And also he's super fast right now because he's got electricity.
Yeah, plus, any adaptation they would have to the darkness slowly over time is constantly disrupted by really bright, burning plasma.
So he puts these guys down really fast and then just gives his daughters time to escape. He doesn't go after them, doesn't try to save them. He just clears the way so that they can get out.
Yep.
And the cops get to the club just as Jefferson is leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, hands up.
We see other people running away, and he's just walking away.
Well, he's the only black dude.
Yes.
That's
like, my point. That's where I was getting.
And they tell him to put his hands up, and he obliges because you got guns.
Yeah.
Because you're coming out of a crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
You got cops with guns. You should listen to them. Like, that's reasonable.
Yeah, he still has a suit on.
They then start telling him to get his black ass on the ground. He's like, nope, that was it. Good try. Turns out the guns they had aimed at him were tasers.
Yeah, when we zoom in and we see him focusing him, or we see their tasers,
Which
starts...
is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know it's been 9 years since Black Lightning was active in this world, but tasers are hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean...
So, they tase him.
For two reasons. A, cops don't use tasers even when they have them. They shoot you instead.
Mm-hmm.
Two, unless you're white. You're white.
And then they don't even shoot you with a taser.
Two, and this is the important one, why are you using tasers in a town that you know has a vigilante who's a wanted criminal?
Yep.
Who can just absorb electricity?
Yeah. But, so, he's frustrated. We see him starting to kind of power up. They're yelling at him still. Then they tase him, and then he tases them. He's better at tasing people.
I don't know if he's better. He's just completely immune to their effective tasing.
Well, I would say he's better because they fly back, hit a walkway above them, and then fall and hit the ground, and then he blows up their car.
That's all things. Yep, that all happened.
I think he's better at tasing people.
Yeah, I think he probably killed these guys, but he didn't. We know that because we...
Yeah, Henderson says nothing about 2 dead cops.
Yeah, he says they got attacked.
Mm-hmm. So we then see the news because his wife is watching it?
Not quite yet.
No. Anissa and Jennifer are back at home, and...
Not quite yet?
Yeah.
He blows up their car. He walks away from the explosion.
Yes.
His title music plays again. And then we cut to a street where an old guy is walking down the street.
Yes, because this was a Clear Wear commercial.
Walks into a shop of some sort.
It's a tailor shop. It's easy to tell. I have here, guy walks a long block into a tailor shop. Guy goes in and sees Jefferson passed out on the floor.
Yes.
After we see Jefferson passed out on the floor of a tailor shop, we go to Anissa and Jennifer arguing. And really, it's just Anissa telling Jennifer how fucking dumb she is for going to Club 100. And Jennifer trying to say she's not. She is, though.
Yeah, and in this scene, we have the news playing in the background, and Henderson says they are looking for a normal, black, human male, despite the news anchor and witnesses saying that Black Lightning was at the club.
Yeah, he says Black Lightning was not involved. It's not possible. And then we go back to the tailor shop, where this guy sewed him up, and they're talking about how, maybe Black Lightning should come back. And Jefferson's just saying no, he didn't continue with that because, he was going after this guy, and then it was this guy, and then it was this guy.
Well,
and the only person losing in all of this was him.
Well, I mean, you're missing a lot of details here that are important.
Am I?
Yeah, namely that Jefferson specifically says that Black Lightning only existed initially for revenge, to go after Tobias.
Yes.
Tobias killed Jefferson's father by literally force-feeding him his news articles.
Yeah. Because
his father was a reporter, and Tobias was a criminal that he was doing an expose on.
Yeah.
Also, the tailor's name is Gombe.
Did they say his name in this portion?
Yes, they said his name in this portion.
I was unaware if they said his name. I was listening for his first name, which I don't think they've said at all in the show.
Yep, and then Jefferson is like, I just did this for revenge. I got my revenge. So I'm putting my family before Black Lightning.
Yeah, well, he did talk about how after he dealt with Tobias, he dealt with this person and then this person. There was always something else.
Because it kept growing in a spiral, yeah. But he was saying, you lost. It wasn't me that lost sight of why I became Black Lightning. You lost sight of why Black Lightning existed.
Yeah.
Black Lightning existed for revenge. It just kept going after that.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how now he's putting this family before Black Lightning, and he thinks that him and his ex are close to having a shot at being a family again.
Yeah. So Gambi isn't particularly happy about this, but
Yeah, then we cut to his wife, who's watching the news, and an anchor is asking why Black Lightning is a vigilante, but other powered individuals are called heroes.
I didn't think it was an anchor. I assumed it was a guest they had on there.
Probably.
Yeah. He's talking about, well, Black Lightning's treated as a vigilante when these other crime fighters aren't, but that's because they're white.
I want to know what other crime fighters he means, because Black Lightning, at this point, does not exist in the Arrowverse, and in the Arrowverse, there were no superhumans until 2011, but in this show, the superhumans were all military experiments. So the question is, where are the other superheroes and who are they? And why?
Yeah, like if it was in the Arrowverse, that would make sense because the Flash is a superhuman.
Mm-hmm. Then there's Supergirl.
The Supergirl, the Superman.
There's the entire League.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, right? What's the League called?
Oh, Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. But in his universe, we don't have anything like that.
That we're aware of in these 2 episodes.
Yeah, and as far as I know, ever. But...
Yeah, but so they're just asking about that, and then Pierce shows up as his ex-wife is watching this, and
because it's his house she's in.
Yes, because she was there to deal with Jennifer
and Anissa actually too, but because Anissa let Jennifer go. But mainly Jennifer because she's the one that went, and she's grounded from social media for a month, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
At this point, Lynn
kind of questions if he's being Black Lightning again, and he's just like, "Nah, the board held me over."
Yeah.
And she accepts this kind of at face value to begin with. They're just talking about how Jennifer's punished. She's dumb. She did a dumb thing. He doesn't have to worry about being the bad parent. She was the bad parent tonight.
Yeah, he also specifically says here that he saved more people as a principal than he ever could as Black Lightning.
Yes.
That's important. We then cut to Tobias, the gangster that murdered Jefferson's father.
As she's leaving, she then again confronts him about being Black Lightning, and this time he straight up lies and says Black Lightning isn't back, which maybe isn't a lie because he never donned the outfit. He just did it to save his daughter. He doesn't plan on coming back.
Yeah,
he's going to be a principal.
It wasn't a lie. He doesn't think Black Lightning's back. I don't know why you would think that's a lie.
Yeah, my note doesn't say it's a lie. I was thinking because the next episode, I just have that he says Black Lightning isn't back.
Anyways, then we cut to Tobias, the gangster that murdered Jefferson's father. We find out that he's still alive, and he sees the report about the possible return of Black Lightning. That's all the scene. Well,
Tobias says it's not possible because he killed Black Lightning.
Not yet, he doesn't.
I thought he did.
Nope.
Okay.
Next day, Jefferson is out running with his daughters. This is apparently a daily thing they do.
Yeah, and then we just cut to school.
And at school, Jefferson is being told by Kara, another faculty member, that the school board wants to put metal detectors in the school.
Yeah.
And Jefferson's like, no. All these kids know somebody that's in prison or have a member of family in prison, and this school's not going to become a prison.
I'm not going to treat them like prisoners. And she's like, well, it's for their safety. He's like, no, we both know it's not.
Outside the school, the guy from the club, Will.
Well, we also see that Jefferson gets a video by Gambi, who is very much trying to push him into being Black Lightning again. It's a video about a guy talking about how Black Lightning hadn't saved his life. All the shit that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
He's trying to guilt him into being Black Lightning.
Yeah. So anyways, the guy from the club has tracked Jennifer down, and he found her Instagram and stalked her to her school.
Yeah, he found her initials, found her Instagram from there, stalked her to her school.
Yeah.
It was a lot of effort, really.
Well, no, when he was talking about the initials, he was talking about the initials on the jacket and her Instagram pictures.
Okay, never mind.
Because they're a prep school of some sort.
Are they?
They have prep school uniforms.
They might just have uniforms. You never know, man.
Maybe. Anissa intervenes then and tells the guy to leave before she calls the police. He calls her a bitch.
Yep.
She goes to walk away and says she's calling the police. He grabs her, which is a mistake, because she gut punches him and then fucking flips him on his back.
Yeah. And the crowd finds it rightly kind of funny. He looks embarrassed, and so when he gets up, he goes to pull a gun.
But Jefferson is coming out of the building and intervenes, and he's like, hey, what you gonna do after you pull this gun? Like, because you're going to prison for life if you do.
Yeah, there's cameras, there's all kinds of witnesses. You're not gonna get away with this. And Will's just like...
The cops are already on their way, like...
And Will's just like, do you know who I am? Do you know who you're dealing with? It's just like, the cops don't care who they're dealing with. They see a black kid like you, they're just gonna shoot.
Then he yells at Jefferson that it isn't over as he kind of like walks away.
Yeah.
In Jefferson's office, he is lecturing his daughters, both of them, because in his 7 years as principal at this school, there has been 0 violent incidents until today.
Yeah. And also, and then his daughter Anissa's like, well, what was I supposed to do? Like, we have protocol for things like this, and you did nothing.
I really have a question, though. Is violent incidences include, like, fights between students?
I have no idea.
Because I don't think
I would assume like it's considered a violent incident.
I don't think you could have any high school and 7 years of 0 violent incidents unless they just weren't being reported.
Yeah. So my thought here is perhaps it's not counted as a violent incident unless it gets escalated up enough so if someone doesn't get injured enough.
I literally don't think there's a school in existence.
Yeah, I would assume there are still fights, but there's nothing where anyone got seriously hurt.
I don't think there's a college in existence that can go 7 years without students getting into a fight.
No, it's impossible. I think the violent incident just means no one got hurt severely by anything.
I would be surprised if there's, like...
By a violent interaction. Not like, I assume someone got hurt doing some sport, doing something, but no one got severely injured from a violent interaction.
Somebody's severely injured playing football. Is that a violent incident?
No, that's a sports injury.
Football is...
It's a sports injury, bud.
Is definitively a violent sport?
No, but it's a sports injury. Even if it's done with unsportsmanlike conduct, it's a sports injury.
So if you just RKO'd a dude on the football field, that's a sports injury?
I mean, you could probably say it is. It's all about filing things correctly.
Honestly, an RKO in football padding is going to do very little.
Yeah. But, so, he's upset. Ines is trying to tell him he doesn't do anything for the community. And he's just like, I've been doing stuff for this community since before you were born. What I care about in this moment, the thing that you fucked up here, the thing that's bothering me a lot, is I was trying to keep my daughters fucking safe, and you both apparently just want to fucking get yourselves killed.
Yep.
Well, that's his main problem. He's like, no, I've been doing shit with the community. One, you fucked up with what your job is here, how you're supposed to handle shit. And also, I care about my kids not dying?
So, then we cut to Jefferson having a meeting with a man named Latavius.
Yes.
And the meeting's about Will, which is the guy from the club, which is the first time we get his name. And somehow, Jefferson was like, I know this kid's name now.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't report this to the police, so I don't know how he did that.
Yeah. But Latavius and Jefferson seem kind of all right with each other to begin with.
Latavius is a former student of Jefferson, and he's also Will's cousin, which is very useful in stopping Will from being a complete piece of shit.
Now, we see as he comes in, the drugs are definitely coming in and out of this area, because the kid leaving drops a bag that's filled with pills and then picks it up before he leaves.
And then another kid shows up, and Latavius is like, hey.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, and so...
And at first the kid's like, hey. And Latavius is like, no. Shake his hand, look him in the eye, firm handshake. How are you doing?
And then he's like, you missed the bus. You're not selling today.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, and what's this I heard about you yesterday? Just being on your phone the entire time, not selling anything, not doing work?
Mm-hmm. That bothers me. You're not living up to your potential.
And he's like, got a firm grip on this kid's shoulder or hand.
And starts crushing his hand because he was shaking his hand.
And Jefferson's trying to like get Latavius to stop. And Latavius is like, I'll stop, but you gotta say my name. Because Latavius isn't my name.
Well, that's not when he does that.
Okay.
Here, he's telling Jefferson to back off. You teach them your way. I'll teach them my way.
That's right. Yeah.
And then he lets go of the kid after taking the kid's phone from him.
Yeah.
And Jefferson's trying to get him to make sure Will stays off. And Latavius says he'll do it if Jefferson says his name.
Yeah. Also, his name is Lala.
Yes.
So...
I'd also like to point out that this kid is like 10 or so, I'd say.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Jefferson eventually calls him Lala. Lala agrees to keep Will away.
Keep Will away from his daughters and the school.
But then says that Jefferson will owe him a favor. Jefferson agrees.
Yep.
Cut to Will and two guys getting out of a car and entering Garfield High School, which is weird because even though they don't have metal detectors, they do have guards.
Mm-hmm.
And
who aren't guarding the door or the hallways. I would assume they'd have to walk past the front office because they go in the front doors.
They don't go in the front doors.
I thought they did.
They go in like a side doors.
Oh.
They also somehow just know what class.
Yeah, they know the exact class. They walk past all these classrooms. There's not a soul in the hall, which is not a high school. There's always some kid wandering the hall.
And it's not just like they know what class. They know what class Jennifer's in, and they know when Jennifer has a class that's taught by her sister.
Yes.
Insane. I don't know how.
So they come in, grab both of them at gunpoint, and walk out.
Yep. Henderson, Lynn, and Jefferson, Lynn being being Jefferson's ex-wife,
Yes.
Henderson being the police inspector, are all talking about what to do now. Jefferson wants them to act right away because they know that they're probably at Seahorse Motel, which
Yes.
is where the 100
Yeah.
pimps girls out.
And Henderson's just like, we can't do anything about it.
We need to confirm
that they're there.
And then after Henderson walks off, Jefferson goes to storm out, and Lynn wants to know where he's going. And he says he's going to get their girls back.
Yeah.
And she tells him to bring them home safe.
Yep. So he goes to Gamby. Turns out there's a secret Black Lightning layer underneath the shop.
Yep, with a bunch of high-tech gadgets and whatnot.
And Gamby has made a new suit.
Which is weird.
I have to assume it's just a hobby. Like, once you start making superhero suits, you don't stop. It's just a fun hobby.
I mean, this is the only superhero in the region as far as we're aware.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not really a hobby. He did it once. And then decided to, like, do it after...
We don't know how many redesigns Black Lightning went through during his active career.
Anyways, Gamby tells Jefferson that he's been working on something new, something better, which is the outfit you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We then cut to Jefferson standing on top of the motel where the 100 runs the girls.
Yep.
God, why do I keep forgetting? Seahorse Motel.
Yeah.
And he's decked out in his new suit and proceeds to just demolish the 100. Like,
Yeah.
straight up.
He takes out 3 guys, no problems. Gets shot at, still takes no problems. And while that's happening, the guns are going off. Will is in a motel room with
Lala and another goon.
and Anissa and Jin are both at gunpoint. And
And-
Lala's fucking pissed.
Yeah, he's like, you can't kidnap these girls. 1, you gotta consult me first.
You don't make big plays like this, Mountain. What the fuck are you doing?
2, these are the daughters of the Black Jesus of Freeland.
Yeah.
Which,
And
an amazing, like...
3, 5 years I've been in charge of this place. Nothing's gone down here.
Do you hear the bullet shots outside? Because stuff's going down here now. You got to take care of these girls and take care of...
He straight up tells him to murk them
Yep, murk them.
and then disappear.
Yep. Also, Black Lightning, the Black Jesus of Freeland. I like that. Like, that just...
Except it's Jefferson Pierce.
Yeah, Jefferson Pierce, the Black Jesus of Freeland.
Yeah. And Black Lightning shows up at that room just as they're leaving.
Yep. Will shoots Black Lightning's suit. Black Lightning's pissed because he didn't get to give any one-liners or anything.
Yeah.
He pulls the bullet right out of his suit. Then
He doesn't pull it out of his suit. It didn't look like. It looked like it got stopped by like almost an EM field.
Yeah.
Because it seemed to flatten like
Yeah.
immediately.
And,
And his lightning bolt thingies on his chest are all glowy, so I assume it's harnessing his body's electrical powers to make like a small... I don't know.
it got stopped by the suit.
So he, starts lightning Will, picks him up with the lightning, and is demanding to know where Lala is.
And this is some Force Lightning style shit because, like, he picks him up and, like, has him hovered over the outside. And I say this is some Force Lightning shit because if you have that much electricity touching a person like that, they're not going to be able to respond coherently.
Yeah.
And Black Lightning's holding him there with electricity. He's like,
Will
Where's-
is stuttering and, like, trying to say stuff.
and he's like, where's Lala? And Will's like, I don't know. And he's like, I'm going to give you one more chance. Where's Lala? And he's like, oh, is that your car down there? Cool. And just, like, force slams him into the hood of his car.
He gets his one-liner in at that point. He goes, is that your car? And Will's like, yeah. He's like, it was a nice car. What Will was. And then Will gets thrown into his
Will
car.
doesn't say was. He just drops into the car.
Oh, I thought I said was.
They don't give him the, like...
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I apologize.
They don't get the comedy line here. This isn't Marvel. You don't get the funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, Lala. Sorry.
Lala is then grabbed by Tobias's direct underlings. We saw them earlier.
Yeah, he's grabbed by the 2 goons at the stoplight and taken to Tobias. Lala calls Tobias his boss and tries to explain to him what's going on. But before he can explain, Tobias straight up shoots the motherfucker with a harpoon.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Shoots him in the shoulder with a harpoon.
harpoon.
Mm-hmm.
And he asks Will if he believes in resurrection because, as Tobias explains, he killed Black Lightning.
Yeah. It's a nice story, but it's all fake.
Yeah.
Go deal with the knockoff Black Lightning.
This is where we find out that Tobias killed Black Lightning.
Yeah. Which is funny because Black Lightning said he killed Tobias.
Yeah.
Or at least that's why he got into it. He never made it explicitly clear that he did kill Tobias.
No, he said he started being Black Lightning for revenge,
Mm-hmm.
and that he got his revenge.
Yeah, but does that mean he killed him, or does that mean he put him away? What?
I think when somebody literally kills your father, I think, because I don't like my father enough to like go revenge his death, but I think when you have a father you like, and he is literally killed in a very gruesome manner, and you have superpowers, I think the obligatory thing here is you murder their killer.
I mean, yeah, probably. Anyways, though, we then go to Jefferson. He shows up at home with his daughters.
No. Henderson shows up at Pierce's home with Jefferson's daughters. Jefferson shows up shortly after.
Oh, yeah, shortly after, sorry.
Yep. And then Lynn and Jeff are downstairs after the girls go to sleep. Lynn thanks Jefferson for saving the girls. Jefferson says it's not over, implying that he's still the Black Lightning.
Yeah. And then we see Anissa super stressed, and when she wakes up, and she goes to the bathroom to, like, splash water on her face, and she just crumbles the sink.
Yep. Breaks it right off the wall.
End of episode.
That's the end of episode 1. Post-episode's thought, go Justice, go.
Honestly, I'm just really happy to fucking have superhero content where we don't have to start at their origin. So happy to have that. Like, superhero content in the media, a show of some sort, or a movie where we don't have to start at their origin. I'm happy with that. Also, I just really, really like the portrayal of Jefferson Pierce so far. We don't have him as a lot of Black Lightning so far, but honestly, Jefferson Pierce as Black Lightning is still just Jefferson Pierce, but with superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
And they do a really, really great job with the writing for him and the way he's portrayed. Legitimately, my only problem in this first episode, and subsequently in the next episode as well, is after basically just the club scene with Jennifer, I don't care for any scene with her in it, because it doesn't feel like it does anything. Obviously, she's supposed to be important. Probably becomes more and more important as the story goes on, but at least in this first episode, as well as the next one, she doesn't really feel like she does anything that matters. Everything with her feels like screen time not being used for more important stuff.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the show is good, which is unsurprising, seeing as most of CW's Arrowverse shows are good. The only issue I have with Arrowverse in general is how similar all the shows are, and part of that's because of how intertwined they've become.
Yeah.
And that makes it a lot to keep up with. But that's not so much an issue with this. So if your issue with the Arrowverse, like mine, which drove me away from Arrowverse, was how intertied all the shows were,
Yeah.
then this doesn't have that problem. Because for the first
2.5 seasons.
For about half of the show's entire run, because season 4 is the last season, for over half of the entire show's run, it's not tied into the Arrowverse. It's not part of it.
And then after it, because apparently the Crisis of Infinite Earths doesn't really do anything with Black Lightning's character, it doesn't really do anything with it for the last half of the show either.
As far as I can tell.
We don't actually know. We haven't watched it.
But like that doesn't seem to be an issue with the show because, like I said, not tied into the Arrowverse.
No, it's just so far a good Black Lightning show.
Yeah, and it's very well written. Like I've enjoyed it. Some stupid stuff we called out.
I mean, it has one of the
Will finding out Jennifer's class schedule without like anything. No security at the school.
Yeah.
Jefferson just knowing Will's name for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's issues, but they're not the biggest.
Maybe
problem.
he got the name from his daughter, and we just didn't see it on screen. I would hope after the time they spent talking, she knew his name.
I mean, yeah, he knew her Instagram.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would watch episode 2, and I'm going to watch episode 2 because I have to.
Yeah. Do you actually want to say episode 2's name?
Yeah, episode 2 is Lawanda, the Book of Hope. This is the first episode in a 2-parter. The next episode is Lawanda, the Book of Burial. We will not be reviewing that. So,
we have split the 2-parter. Generally, the first 2 episodes, if you're going to have a 2-parter in the beginning of a show, it's episode 1 and 2. That is not the case here. Episode 1 is just episode 1, and then episode 2 and 3 are the 2-parters.
So
actually kind of weird. I don't think I've seen that a lot.
So episode 1 was definitely the pilot treatment.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we got greenlit. Okay, here we go. Episode 2 and 3, 2-parter to get people hooked in. Let's go. Anyways, episode 2 starts with a recap. The recap has images that weren't in the previous episode.
Yeah.
Including a pair of images that make it seem like Jefferson Pierce was arrested for participating in the protest against the 100. It shows him, the 100, the protest against the 100, and then him being slapped against the car by police.
Yeah. Also, one of the images it shows could also be the protest, in which it appears everyone is holding a vigil.
Yes. So then this recap ends.
And then we get a previously on.
Another episode recap begins. This recap is much more helpful.
Yeah. This one actually says previously on Black Lightning.
That first recap is just...
I don't know what it was. Fun fact, you don't have to deal with the weirdness that is that recap if you're watching on Netflix. It likes to skip intros. We all know that. The first minute and 21 seconds of this episode are just weird.
Justice, The show had 2 recaps.
And one that didn't make sense. Yeah. So we start this episode with Jefferson in bed, groaning in pain, and the news on, because this family likes the news.
Oh, well, he's groaning in pain. You can see electricity running through his body, too. But yeah, like you said, news is on, which is weird. I've never known of anybody to watch this much news.
They've not watched anything but news. Like, even when Anissa turned the television on after yelling at Jennifer for being stupid, it was already on the channel for the news.
Okay, so I think in 2018, and I know that's been a couple of years ago, 3 years ago now, because the show took place was started in the beginning of 2018. So I'm speaking from the future, but I'm pretty sure back in the long far past of 2018, most people still got their news from their cell phone.
Especially 20-year-olds and teenagers.
Yeah. But no, everybody watches the news.
I can see Jefferson Pierce watching the news. Pierce is the type of man who will sit down and watch the news. I have no problem believing that. He is the type of man that I guarantee still buys a physical newspaper, sits down and reads it. He just gives that feel even in this.
For the funnies, though, right?
No. Come on. For the Sudoku and crossword puzzle.
For the, like, sales pages, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the guy on the news is talking about how if Black Lightning is back because he wants to help Freeland,
it's really, really good, and they should embrace it.
But if he's back because he has a personal vendetta against somebody, kind of like last time he was running around, they don't say that, but it's implied. They don't know about his personal vendetta. It's implied to the audience.
Yeah. Then it's not good, and they don't need him.
He's just here to give false hope to Freeland.
Yes.
Then we cut to his ex, who is staying with her youngest daughter in her room.
Yeah, just chilling, cuddling her daughter, making sure her daughter's not...
And she hears Jefferson fall to the floor, convulsing with his electricity seizure.
So she goes to check on him. He's in the bathroom on the floor.
Also, muscle cramps are caused by electrolyte imbalances.
Yeah. Are you just wondering how much pain Jefferson's in because he has like an extreme electrolyte imbalance?
I get terrible leg cramps. I've gotten them ever since like middle school and high school. And no matter what I do to like fix the electrolyte imbalance, like if I take supplements for it or like make sure to drink more water and like increase potassium intake or what have you, I still get them occasionally, and they're the literal worst pain I've ever had in my life every time. Like crippling pain.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's not like literally biting something off.
I don't know. Also, keep in mind, he has a bullet wound too.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ, man. All I can imagine is how bad these cramp pains are because...
Yeah. So his ex-wife comes in and she's checking on him. He's on the floor. There's some spilled pills in the sink because he was trying to take some pain meds, I guess. And they kind of just talk about how he's old now.
Yeah.
And thus the powers are a bit more stressful.
They have a discussion. He reaffirms to her that Black Lightning isn't back, that this was a one-time thing. Mm-hmm. That leads to them kissing. She breaks the kiss off, though. She's like, No,
I'm not okay with this. We broke up for a reason.
And then she starts to leave, and he's like, you can still stay. The girls need you. I'll go sleep on the couch. You take my bed.
Mm-hmm.
Da-da-da-da-da.
And we are back to the news again. And it's this lady just talking about how the 100 are winning the war for the streets.
Yeah.
And then we cut to an assembly of, I assume, parents and faculty at Garfield High. And Jeff is then quoting this woman, but he says Garfield isn't fighting for that.
Yeah, he's like, some may say that, Freeland is at war and that the 100 are winning. Here at Garfield, named after the Cat High School, we are fighting a different war.
Yeah, we're not fighting for the streets.
Mind of the youth. And then a woman named LaWanda.
Well, a guy stands up first to just
talk
about how those are pretty words. Pretty words won't do anything. The 100 are dangerous.
He's a heckler. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Let's skip the heckler. A woman stands up, LaWanda White, and she's upset because her daughter is being held captive by the 100 in the Seahorse Motel I got at that time.
Being forced to turn tricks for them to make money.
Yep, and she wants to know why Black Lightning saved Jefferson's daughters, but not hers.
And, Jefferson's just like, well, it's fine. The motel's shut down. You can use this time to reconnect with her. She's like, no, it's not. It's fucking open again. And Jefferson's like, what?
He turns to Henderson, and he's like, the fuck are you talking about?
And Henderson's like, yeah, it's open again. And Jefferson's like, well...
It's literally open the next day after. Like, yeah.
He's like, I didn't know. She's like, yeah, it's fucking obvious you didn't know.
Yep. So then we cut to Tobias' place, where he's ordering his goons, including Lala, to figure out who this new Black Lightning is. Also, Tobias comes off as super racist, because he appears to be white, but Justice informed me that he is not.
Yeah.
He specifically says, squeeze these blackies till their ribs crack, and Negroes like you he was acting like we just got freed,
Yes.
which was a confusing statement until I learned that he wasn't white.
No. Tobias the Well.
Tobias Well, that's his name. His
Mhm.
name is just Tobias Well.
Yeah. But he is actually an albino African-American man. So, yeah.
He's a white black man.
Yeah. I mean, that actually had to cause a lot of, like, displacement when he was growing up, like, where he's supposed to identify, because, you know, no one's going to be treating him like just another person in the community, because he looks and gets things from white privilege, but the moment he tries to explain that he's black to white people, it's not going to turn out well for him there. He doesn't have...
Could be worse, though. I mean,
Yeah.
like
He's disenfranchised.
I did some reading on albinism in Africans, and in tribal culture in Africa, which I'm not saying this is still going on today, but in tribal culture in Africa, albinos were thought to have mystical properties and were thus often murdered and used their organs used for witch doctor rituals.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be worse for him. They could have just murdered him for his organs.
Yeah, they could have. That would have been bad.
I mean, it would have been good because then Tobias the Well wouldn't be a crime lord.
Okay, it would have been bad for him, probably good for the community of Freeland. Yeah. So then we cut back to Jeff, and now he's just talking one-on-one with LaWanda. And he's like, well, the police went on. She's like, they don't have evidence that she's being held there against her will. She's just there as far as they're concerned. And she's talking about how her husband died.
Yeah,
and
LaWanda
he's like,
and her husband were both students of Jefferson's.
Yep. Which really makes me question his age in this, because his oldest daughter is in med school.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in her mid to early 20s.
Yes.
He's got this woman who has...
So he's been principal for 7 years.
Yeah.
And he's been teaching for at least 9 years.
Yeah.
Probably longer. He was probably a teacher still while he was...
Yeah. My point is, like, this woman, like, she looks closer to his age, and assumedly her daughter, hopefully, is a grown woman. That's not necessarily true. It's a gang who's just kidnapping people and making them do things.
I would assume Black Lightning is in his 40s, mid-40s.
I know a lot of the time he's like in his mid to late 40s and like comic book stuff. Mid to late 40s, early 50s.
I would assume he's in his mid-40s because he was an Olympic athlete. He has a teaching degree, and after the Olympics, he came back to Freeland to start teaching.
I mean, this woman, she might be in like her mid-30s, maybe.
I
don't think she looks...
Yeah, mid-30s.
Just the age disparity doesn't look too bad. Like, he doesn't look like he's in his late 40s. But she also doesn't... I don't know.
So if he taught her when she was 16...
I just have no idea how long he's been teaching there.
I mean, he's probably like 9-10 years older than her.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Which is long enough for him... No, yeah, because if she was 16, he'd be 26. Yeah, probably about 10 years older than her.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on, like, when he did his Olympic stuff.
Yeah, I think...
He probably did it in his teenage years. Late teenage years, early 20s. It tends to be most Olympic athletes. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
She would just have to be one of his early students.
Mm-hmm.
And her husband died in the military, and basically since he died, shit has gone south. Her daughter has been falling in with the wrong people, and he's just like, I wish I could help. And she's like, everyone says they want to help. Everyone prays for me, but no one's willing to fight for me.
Yep.
And, you know, you could do something. Everyone calls you the Black Jesus of Freeland. You can do anything here. You're just not doing it.
After that, we cut to Jefferson and Henderson, and they're arguing as they walk down the hallways of the school.
Mm-hmm.
Henderson is always at this school. Jesus Christ.
No wonder they can't fucking do anything about the 100. Henderson just doesn't give a fuck.
But as they walk down the halls, Jefferson is like, well, why didn't you shut down the Seahorse Motel? Da-da-da-da-da.
It's a crime scene. Once we're done, we have to move on.
And because the cops won't arrest Lala, even though both of his daughters ID'd him.
15 other people put him at a party, man.
Yeah, so they're arguing about that. And Jefferson's just like, well, you guys aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Jefferson then asks if they could flip Will on Lala.
And Henderson's like, we could, but we can't.
When we find him, and Jefferson's like, what do you mean when you find him? He didn't just get up after he fell 2 stories.
How do you know about that? My daughters told me.
He's like, oh, well, he jumped out of the ambulance.
He was hopped up on pain meds and jumped out of the ambulance.
Because he wasn't handcuffed to anything.
Yeah. So we see Jen outside on her stoop.
Yeah, she's on a video call with her friend Khalil. We actually get his name here.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, I remember
cool.
that as soon as we actually got his name later.
They're talking on, they're FaceTiming on the phone. He's at school. She's here.
We don't know if it's FaceTime. Don't give Facebook more credit than they deserve.
Sorry for using universal dialogue for a term that people know.
It's called video.
They were video chatting or video calling on her cell phone.
Then a kid, the kid from the previous episode,
Is walking by with a box, just walks past these cop cars that are posted up outside Jefferson's house.
because Henderson told Jefferson that he had cops there because both Will
And Lala are missing, and they're going to come after his daughters because they can ID people.
Yep. So this kid that was the one that was used as an object lesson for Jefferson walks past and he's like, "Hey, would you like to buy some candy?" And Jennifer's like, "Yeah, let me see what you got."
And he pulls out a water gun painted black and squirts her with it several times with a red dyed water and tells her Lala says hi.
Yep.
And then kicks off.
Jefferson then goes to immediately confront Lala, who tells him that Lala tells him that he better get his name out of his girls' mouths.
And if he was smart, he'd
Send them on a long vacation before Lala does.
Yep. So Jeff gets angry. Jefferson gets very angry.
Yeah. Lala goes to walk away then.
Mm-hmm.
And Jefferson's angry and tries to follow. One of Lala's goons punch him in the stomach.
Yes.
And he drops. Then on the ground, they point guns at him. His power starts to surge.
Mm-hmm.
And he manages to reel it back in under control. And he's like, not going to murder all these people right now?
Yeah.
And walks off.
He tells Lala not to mistake his patience for weakness.
Yep. And then we get the title card. And if you're wondering, does that feel like a long time into the episode to get the title card? It does. It really does.
Mm-hmm. And now we have Jeff yelling about just this entire situation to Gamby.
Yep.
And Gamby's just like, what if you'd been killed when you went there?
Gamby's more like,
Freeland needs you.
Gamby's like, no. See, your problem here is you went there as Jefferson Pierce.
If you'd gone there as Black Lightning,
you could have lit the motherfuckers up. They'd all be dead.
And just like, I don't care. I'm not trying to protect the city. I'm just trying to protect my daughters. And Gamby's just like, yeah, but you take care of Lala, then you can get the guys farther up from Lala.
He's like, if you get Will, you can flip him on Lala. Lala can flip on his boss, and we get closer to the source of all of this.
And Jefferson's just like, the source? I only care about Lala.
Yep. And so Jefferson essentially agrees here that he is going to become Black Lightning until they get Will and thus get Lala.
Mm-hmm.
We cut to Anissa in bed with her girlfriend.
Yes.
This is an establishing scene for their relationship.
Yeah, it kind of just her girlfriend says she wants more commitment from her.
Yeah, they've been dating for a year. But they haven't really met each other's families or anything. And her girlfriend thinks that she might just be a distraction for Anissa.
Yeah.
We get her name later, but it's much later.
Yeah.
Her name... Chena, yep.
Yeah. And Anissa's just like, no, it's not like that. I'm just super busy with med school, teaching, trying to help out with the community.
Getting kidnapped by the largest gang in probably the state of Georgia.
So after Anissa has sussed out why her girlfriend feels uncomfortable, her girlfriend's like, we should stop talking about why I'm uncomfortable. Are you okay? You just got kidnapped and held at gunpoint.
Yeah, and they talk briefly about Anissa's panic attack where she broke that sink.
And her girlfriend just kind of ignores the sink part. Like, we'll get you a good therapist. It's fine.
Oh, no, her girlfriend makes a very good point. She's like, that sink was probably old.
Well, she ignores it the first time until Anissa mentions it like 2 more times.
You probably put your weight on it.
And it just crumbled.
Not that you're heavy, but like it was an old sink. It probably just crumbled away.
On that note, though, Jefferson's house does not look old. Looks fairly refurbished and new. Very nice.
Was she at Jefferson's house? I thought she was, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure she stayed the night there.
Okay.
At her dad's house. At the end of this conversation, Anissa still seems unsure, and we kind of just leave after that.
Yep, then we cut to the Pierce house, and Henderson is dropping by to check on them.
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson tells him that Anissa is staying at her girlfriend's, and that Jennifer and Lynn are inside sleeping.
Yes, and Henderson notices that his ex, Lynn is still there.
Yeah.
And he's just joking about how happy Jeff must be, like how he must have been just tap dancing around, happy she's back. And then they get a bit more serious, and Henderson's like, LaWanda's just been sitting outside the Seahorse, taking pictures of Johns and license. Jeff, you gotta go over there and talk to her.
And he's like, well, can't you? And he's like, no, she has rights. I can't just like make her leave.
Yeah.
Although, technically speaking, taking pictures of people without their permission is a little bit of a legal gray area.
Yeah, and also, if the motel reported you for loitering.
Yeah, like they're...
But for some reason, I don't think a motel run by a gang is going to report someone for loitering.
Yeah, so anyways, cut to a parking garage or an industrial building.
It looks like
something.
It looks like an industrial building's like truck docking area.
Two guys from the 100
Mhm.
pull Will out of the back of their trunk, and Lala just pulls up in his car.
Steps out.
And Lala's like, man, this is why I hate hiring family.
They never appreciate what you do for them.
And then he just executes Will. Shoots him in the back of the head. Problem
Yeah,
solved.
straight up executes him.
We cut back to the Seahorse Motel, where Lawanda is talking to reporters.
Mm-hmm. And Jeff walks up and he's just like, you gotta stop this. You're gonna get killed. When these news teams leave, which they will when the story gets boring for them, the 100 will just kill you.
Yep. Jefferson convinces her to give him 48 hours to try and help her get her daughter back. Lawanda agrees to stop taking pictures, but for the next 48 hours, she's
gonna stay here though to make sure they don't move her daughter.
Yep. Back at Henderson's place, Jennifer is sitting on their roof.
I assume it has to be the back roof. You're not sitting on the front roof where there are cops.
Yeah.
Watching you smoke weed.
It might be the side roof too. It's hard to
Yeah,
tell.
I would assume it's back of them. That's just my assumption.
Yep. And then her friend that she was video calling with when she got sprayed with blood climbs out her window and onto the roof as well.
Yeah.
His name is Khalil. He confesses his feelings for her because he's like,
You almost died.
I didn't really realize how much I cared about you till you almost died. If you had died, I wouldn't have got the chance to tell you that. So, do you want to go out with me? And she's like, yeah.
Seems a bit unsure, but she says yeah.
Yeah, then he gives her a necklace. They kiss, so on.
There's one important thing, though, in this scene. He mentions that she gets to see Black Lightning.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, yeah. It kind of hurt to look at his face, though. Almost like looking at a spotlight.
Oh, yeah. I didn't note that, but yeah, I guess that's the important part of the
It's
scene.
vaguely important because Henderson also sees Black Lightning later.
Yeah. Downstairs, Lynn is at a computer drinking wine as Jefferson gets home. This is where we get Anissa's girlfriend's name because they're joking about...
Never remembering her name.
Yeah.
Just showing that they don't have time around Anissa's girlfriend because they just don't interact with her.
Yep. Lynn and Jefferson talk about the girls for a moment, and then they embrace in a kiss, which kind of felt like it came out of nowhere, really. Like, that didn't feel like the first kiss felt paid off, like they were getting the relationship
and
back.
then they actually stepped back from it because she's like, I'm not okay with this.
Yeah,
they don't step back from this one. They both seem fine.
We do find out Lynn is a neuroscientist, though. So
yeah, she says she needs to go slow because while she understands how the brain works, hearts are different. And she just then casually drops, because I'm a neurosurgeon.
She's a neuroscientist. That means she knows that the heart has literally nothing to fucking do with love.
Yeah, Josh, is clearly just meant to be a smooth line, man. Let it go.
No.
So, LaWanda is at the hotel, and she sees Lala. So, she gets the fuck out and decides to confront him with a camera.
Yep. And he's just like, nope, no time for this.
You gotta go home. Go. Leave. Before I do something about it.
He's just like, nope, no time for this. Shoots her multiple times in the chest, takes her camera.
Well, he tells her to leave at first, and then when she grabs his injured arm, the one that got shot with a harpoon, he just pulls out a gun and shoots her 3 times in the chest. Like, I tried.
That's
now you're
why
dead.
his arm was in the sling.
Did you fucking not realize why his arm was in a sling?
So, no, I didn't. But I want to explain. You said Tobias shot him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
No, that shot was much lower than his shoulder. I was just under the impression that Lala was dead, and I had no idea how he was still alive for the rest of this episode and episode 2. Because that was a fucking
it was
lung
the shoulder.
and heart shot. Like that was in that area.
No, that was the shoulder.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't up here in the shoulder. It was down in the chest.
No, it was the shoulder because when he pulls him towards him, it pulls the shoulder first.
Yeah, that's acting. The point where the blood is coming from is his chest region.
Okay, so we're just gonna go with you're wrong. It was the shoulder. You didn't think you were wrong, but you were.
The show says it's the shoulder. You're buying into their lies.
I'm so sorry about into their lies. So he shoots her 3 times in the chest. He has the lackeys carry her body off, and as they're picking up her body, we get a different camera angle
that shows her cell phone sitting on the dashboard of her car.
Yeah, it's kind of
recording
wedged
the whole
there.
thing.
And as they're bringing her body back, presumably to dump it in her car to get rid of her car, they bump the door. The cell phone falls down onto the floor.
Yep. Jefferson then gets the call from Henderson.
Yeah. They found her dead body, and Jefferson's fucking outraged at himself, at the 100. He's just angry.
He starts to kind of static.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you know who'd be really cool if they got a live action show?
Static Shock?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it would make sense if he'd been able to show up in the show if it had more seasons, because it's almost like he really admires Black Lightning as a hero, both as a strong black man, as a strong hero.
Yeah.
And it's almost like legitimately he's his idol. Like he has in his room posters of Black Lightning.
Yep. like you said, Pierce is upset because he feels like he could have saved LaWanda, and he feels like he's actually like talking about like he feels like he could have saved so many more people if he was just like embraced being Black Lightning.
Yeah, he says he fucking convinced. He doesn't say it in this way, but
Lynn is in the room now. She walks in. Yeah,
he doesn't say it in this manner, but he basically just says he could have saved more people, and that he fucking lied to himself. He bought into a fantasy that he wanted to buy into. He didn't save more people as a principal. How the fuck did he save people as a principal? They left afterwards. He couldn't do anything after that. He didn't do anything to make things better.
And he also mentions here that Lynn thinks that his powers, that being Black Lightning is an addiction. But he reminds her that when she first found out about his powers, she thought they were a gift from God, and he still thinks they're a gift from God, and not using them is an affront to God.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Our family's almost back together," and he's like, "Yeah, it is, but Black Lightning's needed right now."
Yep. So he ends his argument with Lynn by saying it's time the people knew Black Lightning is back.
Yep. And then we cut back to the school.
And Kara welcomes Jefferson back because he's been gone for a few days because, his daughter got kidnapped.
Daughters.
And Kara's definitely got the hots for Jefferson.
Yeah. It was at this point that I actually think she was the one introducing him around at the fundraiser to get him to schmooze.
Yes. We didn't have her name then, though.
We got her last name then. Henderson said her last name. I don't remember what it was. It was Miss something or other.
Nope. Never happened.
Yeah. No, Henderson mentions it because we flick over to her face where she's looking at him, and then he goes back to schmoozing.
Anyways, she does her, I'm always available if you need anything.
And then she's just standing there awkwardly. His phone starts to ring. She's still standing there awkwardly. He's like, leave? Doesn't say it, but,
Yeah.
The awkward moment.
The phone call is Gombe calling to let Jefferson know that Gombe's found Will's phone. Found Will. But he found Will by finding his phone.
Yeah, because for some reason they haven't caught on yet. Phones are the enemies of gangs.
Yep. But Will is dead. Gombe takes Will's cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. At school,
they're going to use it to find Lala.
At school, we cut to Jennifer and her friend. They're drinking wine up in, like, the upper areas of the gymnasium.
Was it wine?
Yeah, it's definitely wine.
They're just drinking and talking about basically fucking nothing.
Yep. Then we cut to Khalil on a treadmill in the school's...
I assume exercise area.
Exercise room. And Jennifer comes in. She steals a bottle of wine, and she's drinking it in front of Khalil.
And he's just like, no.
And he kind of freaks out. He throws the wine away, and he's like, man, I've seen this gangster life. My brother got killed. My mom's been my mom struggled to raise me by herself because my dad's in prison. And
yeah, I don't want to fucking backtrack. I like you.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to use like my gifts and like athletics and shit to actually do something with my life. But I don't want to fucking backtrack. I don't want to have to deal with all this again.
Yeah, he goes off on her, but like the scene ends with them like holding each other, and he's like, I want to be able to get out of Freeland, and I want you to be able to get out too.
And like, I want you to be okay.
Yeah.
I know you just got kidnapped, but this isn't how you deal with getting kidnapped. Don't drink.
Lynn then goes into Gombe's store, the tailor shop. The two have an argument about Jefferson and his quote-unquote addiction. She
wants him to stop because it's an addiction, and Gambi is just like, we never agreed on that.
Yeah.
You thought it was an addiction. I didn't.
No. He's like, we never agreed on that. You thought he was addicted to his powers. I thought he was addicted to you.
Yeah, because he's talking about how it's good for the city, and
he's just straight up like, yeah, this chaos, it's your fault.
Because he loves him.
At least
she asks him if he's blaming her for the chaos, and he goes, kind of. Just like how you're blaming me now for what Jeff is choosing, and like you blame me then for what he chose.
Yep.
Which, arguably, he is a bit to blame. We do know he basically just tried to straight up guilt Jeff into being Black Lightning again. Like, look, here's this video of this man talking about how every time on his birthday he watches a video of you saving his life.
Yep. Then Jefferson is in his office. He gets a call from Gombe that Will's phone had Lala's address. I'm telling you, Lala written down looks very similar to the name Layla.
Yeah.
It's just missing a Y. My brain is autofilling that because Lala's not a name.
Yeah. So we just see Jefferson walking down the street in his Black Lightning outfit. People are happy. They're kind of cheering. They're greeting him.
And then they're actively helping him through the apartment
he walks up to the high rise that Lala's in. The doorman's there, and he's just like, Lala in? He's like, yeah, penthouse. He walks in. He deals with like 3 lackeys on the ground floor.
3 or 4, yeah.
Elevator open up. Another guy who's, I guess, the elevator man, because they're using an elevator man in this fucking building. He's just like, you want me to take the top floor? We have a brief comedic moment where it's just, nah, man, I've been out of the game for a while. I got to get all the extras I can. I'm going to take the stairs.
Yep.
Takes out some people on the stairs.
Then he finds Lala in the penthouse and straight up beats a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like,
is getting ready to like go final strike on him when in pops the police.
Yep. And he's like, hey, Inspector Henderson, it's been a while. Bye. And jumps off the balcony.
Yeah. Henderson pauses for a moment. He just looks absolutely fucking shocked that Black Lightning is actually back.
Mm-hmm. Henderson is then talking to Lala in the interrogation room,
Mm-hmm.
and he's telling him that Lawanda's going to tell her story from the grave.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
She recorded the entire thing.
So my notes have Lala's being interrogated. Well, really, he's just having evidence rubbed in his face. Look, dude, we got you on fucking camera murdering her. Your guys are flipping on you. You're fucking done.
Lala's being interrogated because they don't need to interrogate him. They have all the evidence they'll ever need, ever.
It's really just like, I fucking got you. Look, this is you. This is so obviously you.
Really, the tactic is, look how much we have on you. Now tell us who your boss is.
They don't even ask that.
Yeah, not here, obviously, but like that's 100% the tactic they're going for.
Oh, yeah.
Jefferson then gets home, talks to Lynn about the Black Lightning thing, and he's like, well, the girls are older now. One of them's out of the house.
We can find a way to deal with this, and she doesn't respond. She just gets up and leaves.
I think Lynn is secretly a member of Cobra.
I'm trying to remember comic stuff. I think you might actually be right. I think there's an arc where she is a member of Cobra.
Like, it just makes sense, right? Like,
no, I legitimately think at a point in the comics she is a member of Cobra.
Anyways, Anissa wakes up in the middle of the night, goes to a pharmacy to get something for her headache, and then a guy in a mask comes in and tries to hold up the store, and he sees her, tells her to get on the ground, and then she goes fucking Jimmy on him.
She's having like a panic attack, so he walks up, shoves the gun in her face, trying to force her down, and
then he's jimmied.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, go listen to the song Jimmy by Spose. She doesn't, like, hit him with a spin kick, though.
No, she hits him with some thunder.
Yeah, she throws him across the store.
Mm-hmm. And then she walks up to the counter, sets down the pills, and walks away. She doesn't seem so stressed anymore.
I thought she was setting it down to buy them. Like,
it looked like
it
looked like she walked away after she set it down. Like, she smiled in like relief, set it down. It looked like she walked away afterwards.
Maybe
when we were leaving.
Jefferson's sitting at home at this point, looking
He's
at
just drinking,
old photos,
and lamenting the destruction of his marriage.
Yep. Then we see Tobias pull up with his goons outside the jailhouse. The cops let him walk right into the prison cells.
Actually, he shows up around the back lot of the police station because we can see the impound, the cops, and then they're opening a back door in the back.
The cops let him walk right into the prison cells, the jail cells, where he proceeds to murder Lala because, quote unquote, he killed someone's mama, and any man who would do that has no
morals
and could do anything, including become a rat.
And so he picks him up and chokes him to death.
Yep. That's the end of the episode. This might be the best TV show DC has done, live action wise. Obviously, Batman the animation is still.
Yeah, no. Their animated shows are by far better than all of their
obviously
live action shows.
Young Justice is like
Young Justice, Teen Titans,
Batman the animation,
Batman Beyond,
Teen Titans Go.
I mean, the JLA, Justice League.
I wonder how many people I just triggered by saying Teen Titans Go was good.
Honestly, Teen Titans Go is good. Fuck off.
Yeah, this isn't part of the show at all, but I want to talk about Teen Titans Go for a hot second. People hate Teen Titans Go because it's not Teen Titans. That's the only reason they hate it.
Yeah. No.
That was the only reason I hated it.
Yeah.
You know what? Watch some Teen Titans Go. It's funny. It's still authentic to the material.
We all know you're gonna fucking fanboy over minor references in movies and shows anyways. You're gonna fanboy over the minor references seated throughout every fucking episode.
Also, my favorite thing about Teen Titans Go, like literal favorite thing other than Teen Titans Go to the movies, which is like legitimately good, is that Teen Titans Go is a literal sequel series to Teen Titans.
Yes.
There's a canon explanation for everything.
Yeah. If you want to know it, I'll go ahead and ruin it for you. Control Freak reset the universe.
Because it was a television show.
Yeah.
And he controls TVs, bitch.
And he's now debating, in the episode where we found that out, he debates if he should reset this one.
Yeah, cut the budget even further.
Yeah. No, it's actually a great fucking reasoning for a television show.
Teen Titans Go is good. I wouldn't say it's better than this so far. Black Lightning is good. Teen Titans Go is good because it's funny and that's why. But it feels distinctly different from everything else in the Arrowverse. Like nothing else in Arrow feels like this.
Yeah,
and that's
honestly,
a good thing.
It feels distinct and also just so much fucking better than DC's straight up singular attempts to do their own shit. Like the stuff they had on DC Universe, like Titans and Doom Patrol.
Well, so I think Titans and Doom Patrol, well, maybe less so with Doom Patrol, but with Titans, the issue was they try to go too dark.
Yes.
It's the same issue they had with BVS. Whereas this show hits that perfect, like, gritty tone of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Punisher, but
still keeps in enough of family life of Jefferson Pierce.
This is definitely the closest DC's come to, like, a good quality live action show, like a
Yes.
great quality live action show, like
Yeah.
a Netflix Marvel quality live action show,
Honestly, it's better than some of Netflix's live action
like
shows.
Iron Fist.
Yeah,
which
like
was
Iron Fist, the subsequent seasons after season 1 of Jessica Jones.
the subsequent seasons of Luke Cage, but not Punisher or Daredevil. Those shows are just good all the way through.
Daredevil is. I never watched The Punisher.
Punisher's so
Never
good.
watched it. I can't say anything. Mind
Jay-
you, everything we're saying is based off of 2 episodes.
So Jay Bernthal, Punisher in that series.
Yeah.
So you know earlier I was talking about like how Marvel doesn't make comic book adaptations. They take comic book characters, distill how they feel, and make movies based on that.
Yes.
That is the Punisher series. This is what Punisher feels like.
Okay,
And
very
they
cool.
fucking nail it. Jay Bernthal is the best person they could have ever had nail that.
Yeah,
Anyways, I would definitely watch more of the show.
agreed.
I like that it also doesn't seem to have a villain of the week thing going on.
No, it's an overarching plot, which is how you fucking do it. Villains of the Week is fine if it still somehow ties into an overarching plot.
So I think it's really weird because like villain of the week was definitely like a logical storytelling device when television was watched, strictly speaking, on a week by week basis.
Yes.
It also made reruns more logical. Like,
No, you had a lot of shows that did Monster of the Week, stuff like that.
but this show started in 2018.
But those shows also, the really good ones in my opinion, seeded an overarching story
Yeah.
that you didn't need to have access to if you were just randomly watching a rerun.
Mhm.
Because you had this main story, and the B story was always this overarching plot.
Yeah. I think the B story should be the subplot of each episode. Like,
Yeah.
if you're having a villain of the week, the villain of the week should be the B story,
Yes.
and the A story, the story carrying each episode in the show, should be the overarching story of the series.
Agreed.
It's a little issue I have with Supernatural. Like, Supernatural is great, but like after season 3, it just
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, arguably, if we're looking at just these 2 episodes, we could say, without knowing too much, that the B plot, if we want to do it as a villain of the week or problem of the week, is B plot. First episode, kids get kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
B plot, second episode, we are dealing with LaWanda and her daughter. Those are B plots that, by themselves, in other shows, would just be the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is, well, A plot, episode 1, Jefferson's a superhero.
Jefferson's a
Retired
retired
superhero who's going to be coming back because gang activity.
because of the B plot. Yeah.
Mhm. And then episode 2 is still that. He's still returning because of what happened.
But it's showing the stress that it has on his family now,
Yeah.
which is the reason why he retired to begin with.
Exactly. The B plot is what would be the A plot in so many other shows.
I will say, as much of an like ringing endorsement I'm giving the show right now, it does worry me that the show does get fully brought into the Arrowverse halfway
Yeah.
through season 3, because everything we like about the show right now doesn't match the Arrowverse, and coming into the Arrowverse could cause that to be stylistically changed. If the Arrowverse has a style guide, then this would have to change to match that style guide, which might be why they decided to end after season 4, because season four is the only season that is
Yeah.
entirely within the Arrowverse.
That is entirely possible. But, so I think we've kind of already hit our final thoughts for the show.
That's what I was doing. Yes.
Okay. I think I hit everything except for, and I've even said it, like, this is by far a great Jefferson Pierce. But this is probably my favorite comic book adaptation of a character, like the one that feels most true that, like, I've experienced. And, you know, going forward, there are definitely things I would hope for the show, which is just already appears to be happening, at least with Anissa, which is that his children become their superhero identities. Jennifer being Lightning and Anissa being Thunder.
I want to interrupt you real fast. I know you said earlier to me that you thought this was the most accurate character.
Did I not say it at all
No,
during this?
Yeah, you just did.
Okay.
I think I thought of a better comic book character to film adaptation.
To live action adaptation, yeah.
Garfield, the cat.
No.
Deadpool?
Deadpool's pretty fucking good.
Daredevil, the Netflix series, not the Ben Affleck.
I'd say pretty good.
Brandon Routh, Superman?
I like Brandon Routh, but no.
Yeah, okay. Those were my big ones, so...
Yeah, no, like, the best one you gave me was definitely Daredevil from the Netflix show.
Okay, seems fair. I'll go back to being quiet while you finish.
But, again, I don't know how well that's going to hold up for 4 seasons. So I'm comparing 2 episodes of a great portrayal so far to an entire fucking series.
I've got another one that's a great comic.
Do it.
Nightman. I've never read the comic, but I assume that the comic's exactly like the TV show.
You know, that's one of those instances where I actually kind of fucking hope so. Are you not going to hit me with the,
Avatar: The Last Airbender could become that.
Whatever. So, after the first 2 episodes, yeah, I'm definitely on board to watch more Black Lightning. You?
Yeah, the only actual, like, issue I had with the show, and I have 3 I can think of, are as follows, in order from least important to most important. Ready, set, how the fuck does Jefferson Pierce know Will's name? Like, what the fuck happened there? You gave a good explanation. I'll take it. 2, they just walked into that school. Nobody, like, stopped them or, like, saw them or, like, was in the halls. That's immersion breaking. I hate to say it. But number 1, the worst thing about the show, he's on the streets. He's back, Black Lightning. Those aren't the lyrics, but it's very close.
Yeah, that theme song is not good.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. Everything else, good.
Yeah, like the music through the show, actually good. The opening theme, I could easily do without.
So I think we're both saying yes, more Black Lightning.
Yeah, also, surprisingly, the lightning doesn't look bad when he uses it.
Oh, on the spinoff of the show, and you'll have to fill me in because I don't recognize this character's name. The spinoff of Black Lightning is about Painkiller, whose name I didn't recognize.
I recognize, and I think I know who it is, but I'm a double check before I fucking say anything.
But yeah, the Painkillers, apparently, like, Painkiller was up in the air after season 3, but, like, the creators of Black Lightning said that the Painkiller spinoff will be happening, so.
Yeah, so I was right. He is a villain for Black Lightning, which is why I'm confused as to why we're getting a spinoff. Most of our television spinoffs are heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Have we had any villain, like, comic?
Punisher started as a Daredevil villain in the Netflix series.
Yeah, but, like, Punisher is straight up not a comic book villain.
And then he got his spinoff. Yeah, that's the closest I can think of.
But, like, I'm talking, like, even comic-wise, not Painkiller. Punisher is a hero, or at the very worst, an anti-hero.
Like I said, that's the closest I can think of.
I don't think Painkiller's ever been anything but.
In Daredevil, the show,
Oh, yeah.
Punisher was a villain, and then he got spun off into his own show as the main character. I wouldn't call him a hero, but yeah.
So, I now know why I hate myself for not remembering. I'm not going to say it, though, because it is definitely a spoiler for the show.
Okay, so if we made you interested in Black Lightning, which is available on Netflix, seasons 1 through 3, season 4 is currently airing on CW. If we got you excited for Black Lightning, and then got you saddened and kind of steered you away by saying that season 4 was the end, there is a spinoff. DC CW stuff is probably never going to end at this point.
Yeah, it's going to keep going.
The Arrowverse, even without Arrow, is just the closest thing DC has to an MCU.
The MCU is never going to end, and DC's films are never going to start, really. But their television series will continue while Marvel's live-action television series will die.
I am excited about...
One gets film, the other gets television.
I am excited about Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Yeah, that actually looks pretty good.
Anyways, this has been Co-Pilots. Thank you for flying with us. If you want to contact us, you can reach us on Twitter.
At Copilots Review on Twitter.
You can email us at copilotsreview@gmail.com.
Or you can find our podcast, links to our Twitter, our email, and our Discord at copilotsreview.simplecast.com.
I will say I didn't check it this week, but if you want to leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you find that you can leave reviews, on the wall of your favorite pub, in the bathroom of your workplace, if you want to just find a place to leave a review, preferably iTunes where anybody can see it, but I'm not going to stop you.
If you leave it anywhere else and you're not exactly sure we'll be able to find it, you can always take a picture and tweet at us.
Yeah,
or email it if you don't want other people to see it.
Yep.
Drop it on the Discord, do whatever.
I would suggest emailing because tweeting would become public record and that's evidence then. Anyways, leave us a review, preferably somewhere legal like iTunes, but if not, I'm not going to condone it, but street art is fine. Let us know what you think of the show, even if you hate it. If you leave that review, we'll read it out on the podcast. I'll make sure to check for the next episode. The next episode is going to be a Co-Pilots review. It's the 2nd of March.
Yes.
Anyways, thank you again for flying with us.
Please fly again soon.